Buenas tardes a todos. Quiero darles la bienvenida, agradecerles por acompañarnos en este evento. Mi nombre es Alejandra Zapata y hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales de Colfuturo. Hoy nos acompaña Dave, quien es el representante de University of Western Australia. Nos estará brindando un poco de información acerca de la oferta académica que tienen disponible, qué opciones de financiación tienen y también nos estará hablando un poco del convenio que tienen actualmente con Colfuturo, el cual otorga un descuento del 25% en el valor de la matrícula para los beneficiados de Colfuturo admitidos en programas de maestría y doctorado. Es importante aclararles a todos ustedes que a lo largo de la historia de Colfuturo hemos beneficiado a más de 15 personas con este convenio, entonces es una oferta recurrente y esperamos que toda esta información que Dave nos pueda brindar sea de mucha utilidad para todos ustedes. Al final vamos a tener un espacio de preguntas y respuestas, entonces si a lo largo de la presentación tienen alguna duda o pregunta, la pueden escribir en inglés en nuestro chat, que al final Dave las va a responder. Quiero recordarles que esta sesión hace parte de una serie de eventos que hemos tenido en septiembre y en octubre, con las que hemos tenido contacto con algunas universidades alrededor del mundo con las que tenemos convenio. Entonces, si se perdieron de algún webinar, de algún evento, lo pueden encontrar en nuestro canal de YouTube y este evento también va a ser enviado a todos ustedes a sus emails. Pueden acceder a toda nuestra programación en nuestras redes sociales, Instagram, Facebook y Twitter, y también pueden verla específicamente en nuestra página web en la sección de calendario, en colfuturo.org. Pueden ingresar y así acompañarnos en todas nuestras sesiones. Quiero recordarles que mañana vamos a tener nuestra feria, Colfuturo Connect Live, en donde vamos a estar con más de 40 universidades. Ustedes van a poder hablar directamente con los representantes de estas universidades, hacerles sus preguntas. Vamos a tener una charla PSB, que es para ser beneficiados y acceder a todos estos descuentos. Vamos a tener seminarios también. Entonces, los invito a que entren a nuestra página web. Al inicio va a estar un banner donde se pueden registrar. Es totalmente gratuito. Entonces, pueden hacerlo. Sin otra cosa más que decir, Dave, thank you so much for joining us, for your time, and for your interest to present the institution. So you can start.
Okay, thank you very much, Alejandra, for the introduction, and welcome everyone. Good evening there in Colombia, and good morning from here in Australia. It's currently 6 a.m. So please excuse me if you hear my daughters wake up and start running around. It'll be breakfast time soon. So what I'll do is I'll just share my screen and get underway here. Okay. So welcome to the University of Western Australia. There's a bit to get through my presentation, so please excuse me if I do rush through. But as it always is tradition here at the University of Western Australia, we'd like to acknowledge that our campus is situated on Noongar land and that Noongar people remain the spiritual and cultural custodians of their land and continue to practice their values, languages, beliefs and knowledge. So the Noongar people are the Indigenous people of Australia, and Noongar are the Indigenous people to Perth and the lands on which the University of Western Australia is situated. So my name is Dave Connell. I look after the international sponsored students area within the university. I'm also an advisor internationalisation for the health and medical sciences within the university. And I'm actually an alumnus of the university as well after completing my Masters of Public Health. So I am a product of what I am presenting today, so I can speak highly of the university itself. So a little bit on today's session. So I'll provide you a bit of background on Perth, the university itself, the postgraduate courses we offer, how to gain entry into the university, and a little bit of what you can expect as a student within the university. So I always think it's important as someone considering studying a particular course at a particular university to provide a bit of information on the place in which it is situated and where you would potentially be studying in the future. So Perth is the capital city of Western Australia. I'm sure you understand that Australia is in the southern hemisphere, similar to yourselves, and is located essentially in the southeast corner of the globe. You can see New Zealand off the southeast coast of Australia, and then to the north is Asia, so Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia, etc., leading up into China, India and the Middle East over there. So this is just a bit of a breakdown of Australia itself. So you can see over on the east coast, Victoria and New South Wales are probably two of the main states you've heard of. So Melbourne and Sydney, leading up north to Queensland, over to the Northern Territory, down to South Australia, and then Western Australia is the biggest state in Australia. And down in the southwest corner of Australia is Perth, so the capital city of Western Australia, where we're situated. Australia itself is actually the sixth biggest country in the world. So one of the, being an island nation, one of the good things about Australia is its uniqueness and its character in terms of the topography and the environment and wildlife, both fauna and flora that is on offer. So I'm just going to briefly take you through this, because one of the good things about studying as a student in Perth and Western Australia more generally is the ability to go out and enjoy the wildlife during times off, so during holidays and your semester breaks. So you can go and explore the various wildlife that's on offer, the various different environment and outlooks that you can get. So just the beautiful beaches, the various rocky outcrops that look over the ocean, the aquatic life and the Great Barrier Reefs, the various reefs around Australia. And then you can go inland to more of our desert. So this is Uluru. You may have heard of Uluru, which is the indigenous name for Ayers Rock. But you can get, very dry, very arid as you go inland. So a lot of livestock, cattle stations, but also you get these wonderful gorges, particularly up north inland, where you can go to these beautiful fresh pools and these cliffs that have been developed over millions and millions of years, provide great watering holes for people to go explore. This is called the Waterfall and Cathedral, which is up north of Western Australia as well. Then you get these mangrove areas in the tropical areas, particularly Queensland and up in Darwin of Western Australia as well. So it's just very unique. As you go further inland over east, you get the Eastern Alps, which is beautiful green during summer, but then provides snowfields in winter. So you can see how vast our environment is and how beautiful it can be as well. Some of the foods that we are famous for in Australia that you may have heard of, things like Vegemite, which is a spread you put on your bread or your toast, Tim Tams, Lamingtons. We love our barbecues or our barbies, so the sausages in bread. You can see there our meat pies. We love our meat pies. And in particular, our fresh seafood. So being surrounded by the ocean provides some wonderful seafood for people to enjoy. We're a very active and sporty population. So any sport you could think of, you name it, we play it. Right from up the top there, the top left-hand corner is called Australian rules football. So that's the Indigenous game. So it was born here in Australia, and we play that as pretty much the only Indigenous game in Australia. But any other sport, soccer, you can see the Matildas up there. Our famous Matilda player, Miranda Kerr, plays internationally. We play basketball, tennis, rugby, swimming, running, anything you could want as a sports player, we offer it here in Australia. So Perth is essentially a gateway to the world for Australia. So many people from Africa, Middle East, India, throughout Asia arrive in Perth before going on to elsewhere in Australia. Now, coming from Colombia, you may come the other direction, come from either through Sydney or even Auckland itself. But we're on the same time zone to most places in the world. Our economy in Perth is extremely strong, so we continue to grow, which particularly in the current times we are in, is remarkable. So particularly our mining and resource sector is really keeping Australia economy afloat at the time being. Our national average wage average is 8% above that of the national level. We've got the lowest cost of living compared to any other Australian city, 40% discount for students on public transport. And given our strong economy and our location, we have the largest number of ASX listed companies headquartered in Perth. So you can see as a student, extra wages, lowest cost of living, cheap public transport, and the ability to get a job is it just provides a wonderful place to be for a student who's studying and looking to earn a little bit of extra wage as well. We're a very safe and friendly city, so 30% of our population was actually born overseas, so we're very multicultural. We're very welcoming to students. Pre-COVID, we had over 59,000 international students studying in Perth. We're actually in the top 10 now for the most livable cities in the world. So because of our climate, because of our low unemployment, our welcoming environment, we're very unpolluted. So we've been voted based on that, our strong economy, etc., in the top 10 most livable cities. And just the environment itself, the 8 hours of sunshine a day, very Mediterranean, so hot, dry summers, mild winters that can get wet, but generally most of the year round. We have beautiful blue skies. We're actually coming into our summer at the moment, so we're in spring. So the weather is starting to come really beautiful, and at a time you just want to be outdoors enjoying the environment. So this is Kings Park. This is actually the largest natural nature reserve in the southern hemisphere, in a city in the southern hemisphere, and this is overlooking the Perth city there and the Swan River, but it's actually located right across the road from the University of Western Australia itself. So we find students going out enjoying the park itself, so running, cycling, enjoying it for exercise, but also using it for a place to relax and rewind, having picnics and just walking casually through there as well. That's Kings Park as well. It's an easy place to get around, so right around the river, right throughout the city, we've got excellent cycling and walking paths to enjoy as recreation or just to enjoy the city itself, to get around. This is just a famous boat shed. Our coastline, which is only 6 kilometres from campus, so it's easy to get to, but it's just blue ocean, white sands as far as the eye can see. This is one of our famous beaches, Cottesloe Beach here, so you can see People, particularly during summer, just go down there for the entire day. They take picnics. There's restaurants along the coast. People go get fish and chips and will spend their time just hanging out at the beach. There's free barbecues all the way up the coast, so you can take your fresh meats, your salads there, and just spend the day there. So these are free to use, these barbecues, and people generally you'll find all the way along the coast having picnics and barbecues throughout summer and spring and autumn. Rocknest Island is a little island that people go holidaying to, where people go snorkeling, riding around, and you get there. It takes about 25 minutes to half an hour by ferry. You may have seen quokkas, so people go and have selfie with these quokkas. Chris Hemsworth, Rafael Nadal, just recently have both had selfies with the quokkas, and they only live on Rocknest Island. And yeah, people go there, they take their boats over, they go cycling around. It's the only way to get around, either walking or cycling. Then they just spend time swimming, fishing, snorkeling, etc. So now I'll just move on to the University of Western Australia itself. I'll just play a quick video for you. Okay, that was just a little bit of a sneak peek into student life on campus, and you can see just the diverse amount of activities that does go on campus, and the location we're in provides so much opportunity for students to enjoy the outdoors, particularly on the river there, and within the campus itself. So we're the #1 university in Perth in Western Australia, and we're part of what's called the Group of 8 universities, which is a coalition of the best universities in Australia. So we're 8 research-intensive universities, which really helps drive our teaching and learning within the university. So we do have some of the best researchers that are available within Australia. So we're established in 1911, so we're the 6th oldest university in Australia. We've got a really strong, as I mentioned, research background. We're ranked 85th academically in the world, so that's the ARWU 2020. We're continually ranked within the top 100 within QS and Times Higher rankings. You can see the number of subjects that are ranked in the top 50 in the world, and particularly in Australia. So mining and mineral engineering, marine and ocean engineering, agriculture and science, environment science and engineering, biological sciences, oceanography, clinical medicine. We also have home to a Nobel laureate, Professor Barry Marshall, who I'll show you in a tick. And then just a whole heap of... so this is Professor Barry Marshall. So he won Nobel laureate in philosophy or medicine. So he was the discoverer of H. pylori, so the cause of gastric ulcers. So he actually researched on himself, made himself very sick, but as a result of that, he was able to diagnose the cause and develop treatments for it. So he won the Nobel laureate for that, and has now set up the Marshall Centre for Infectious Diseases within the University of Western Australia. He actually teaches students and helps supervise students as well. So that's just a glimpse of someone who you could learn from. So I've touched on this before, so I'll just skip this. This is our campus itself and the location. So you can see it's quite a large campus. It's very conveniently located close to the Perth CBD, so only 5 kilometres. You could walk or cycle there. It's located right on the doorstep of Kings Park. Just to the north of the boundary there, you can see College Road, so that's where all our university accommodation is located. So it's a 2-minute walk to campus. And then for those considering health or medical science research or coursework, that number one up there is the Uwa Health Campus. So it's about a kilometre away, but the beauty of that is that it is actually located on a medical facility site. So it contains Perth Children's Hospital, QE2 Medical Centre, along with a number of research laboratories. You can see Winthrop Hall, that's number 2 there. That is our very famous hall that graduations occur at, and it's one of our oldest buildings on campus. It's a really beautiful building there. So we're extremely well connected. So we generally recruit students from all over the world, including Latin America, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, Central Asia, Southeast Asia, and then North Asia. We've been ranked 5-star for teaching, and we've got a very high international student satisfaction rate. So you can be assured that you're receiving a very good education experience. You can see a majority of our students are undergrad, with postgrad coursework, then HDR students coming in as the 3rd highest. Okay, so one of the things we pride ourselves on at the University of Western Australia is really tackling global challenges, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are really coming to the fore of that. So we're really focusing on the SDGs within all our research. But just as I mentioned, the research is a key to the university, and we do have a strong focus on that. We've got over 40 different world-leading research centres and institutes, which goes to show that we have amazing opportunities for students considering research. So as I just touched on, we're 5 stars in teaching quality, teaching student-to-teacher ratio, and then also meeting student demands, excellent overall experience for students and teachers as well. So we offer 22 different schools within the university that falls within our College of Schools. So pretty much any discipline you could think of, we offer within the University of Western Australia. So broadly, our disciplines are health and medical sciences, engineering, sciences, and arts, business, law, and education. But within those disciplines, obviously, we offer these schools sit. So anything essentially that you could want or could be looking for, we offer at the University of Western Australia. So if I take you through these briefly, so I'm just going to give you some quick background to our disciplines. So for agriculture, environment and biological sciences, we've been ranked first in Australia, 16th in the world for agricultural sciences, first in Australia and 21st in the world for environmental science and engineering, first in Australia and 34th in the world for biological sciences, and then 51st in the world for agriculture and forestry. And these are some of the broad areas that we offer for teaching and research within agriculture, environment and biological sciences. Architecture, design and planning. So first in WA for full outcomes for our students. We're highest rated by employers for architecture in WA. And these are just some of the broad areas we offer. So geography and planning, environmental design, architecture, environmental geography and planning, and landscape architecture. Business and commerce, so this is quite broad, but you can see we're very well accredited with AACSB and EFMD Equus. So we're in the top 100 for accounting and finance, and we're really strongly industry connected here. We also offer, as you can see in that picture, a trading room which is fully functional, fully live, so students can actually trade shares if they're allowed in that facility there. Also law within this area. We're ranked in the top 100 for law schools around the world. We offer a Juris Doctor degree, and we're very well researched. So these are just some of the areas within both law and business and commerce. So pretty much anything within these areas we do offer. And within law, we also offer a Juris Doctor degree. So physics, science, engineering and maths. So fourth in the world and first in Australia for mining and mineral engineering. So we've got a very good engineering and science area. So 21st in the world and first in Australia for environmental science and engineering, fifth in the world and first for marine and ocean engineering. So we have an ocean institute, which really drives our research in this area. And we're ranked 22nd in the world for oceanography. So data and computer science, so you can see particularly cybersecurity is such a big thing these days. Engineering, we cover most engineering disciplines there, from electronic, mechanical, mining, software. And then within these, we also offer various specific discipline as well, such as oceanography, etc. So health and biomedical science. So we're top 3 in Australia and 29th in the world for clinical medicine. And we've been teaching medicine for over 60 years. We're also in the top 50 in the world for public health, along with biomedical sciences as well. Also psychology, ranked first in Australia and top 50 in the world for psychology. And these are the broad areas that we do offer. So essentially anything that you could need or you're considering in health and biomedical sciences, right from public health through to dentistry, medicine, psychology, social work, biostats, human movement, you name it, we pretty much have on offer. Nutrition at UWA. So humanities and social sciences, first in WA for arts and humanities, psychology, social sciences and management. So just move on. So this is the broad range of topics that we do offer within this area. We also offer our music and fine arts program, which is ranked in the top 100 for performing arts. We've got some excellent facilities for students to learn and research in this area. So we offer fine arts, music studies, performance studies, etc. So physical science and mathematics also. So your broad range of your sciences we have on offer, and mathematics as well. Okay, so I just thought I'd show you some of the industry's partners that we do have at the University of Western Australia, which are vital in terms of driving our courses. So we actually reach out to our industry partners to help design our courses and help with our research as well. So they will come to us seeking our researchers, our students, etc., to help with any problems that they may have and may want research on. So we're very strongly connected with industry. So postgraduate studies. So at the University of Western Australia, we offer a 4-year PhD degree. So as an international student, 4-year full-time program. We offer professional doctorates as well, which is coursework doctorates essentially. Then we offer a 2-year Master of Philosophy, a 1-year Master of Research, which converts, say, an honours degree. And then we offer a range of different Masters by Coursework program, which can be 1 to 2 years. And these will take into account either completely coursework, or you can do a combination of coursework plus thesis or dissertation, or coursework plus placement or internship. So this is a breakdown of what you can expect in a research degree. Excuse my bird that's going off in the background there. So our research degree can include some coursework, particularly around research methods and research design. You'll be aligned to a school and have two different supervisors to help you at each step of the way. We also have a graduate research coordinator within each school that as a student you have access to, that will also help monitoring you, help with your application process. And they really do help you throughout the degree and research itself. And then upon completion of your research, you're required to submit your thesis, defend your thesis via presentation, and then submit the final product. So choosing a topic, I'll take you to the next slide, which will show you the process. But really what we want to see our students do is choose a topic if they're going to research on something that will enthuse them and will help them in the future when they return to their country or return to their place of work, that will really help them progress in their career. So that's something that you need to consider when choosing a research topic. Finding a supervisor. So we have supervisors right through every discipline. We have, if I take you to the next slide, so in terms of if you're considering a research degree, so this is a process you would go through. So finding a potential supervisor, I strongly encourage you to jump on our research repository, type in the area of interest that you're considering, and that'll bring up a range of different supervisors that could be available for you. Jump into those supervisors, have a look what they're researching on, and then even drop them a line, email to see if their topic is of interest to them. Then you can submit an email to our GRS, our Graduate Research School, who will then help you secure that supervisor. Following that, you need to complete an expression of interest, so provide a brief outline of proposed research project, and you can work with your potential supervisor on that. And you're required to submit your previous degree qualifications, including evidence of research that you've already undertaken. And then you submit a formal application process. Okay, and that's the website there. So admission requirements, So you must have completed a bachelor degree, have achieved the weighted average mark. So that varies depending on which degree. So for a Doctor of Medicine, for example, you're required to have a higher weighted average mark, but as a minimum to get into UWA, into a postgraduate degree, 65% is generally what's required. If you were to go in for a higher degree by research, you're also required to show some evidence of research experience as well. And generally, undergraduate degree mark of around 70%. In terms of Ielts, minimum Ielts for entry into postgraduate studies at the University of Western Australia is 6.5 overall, then no band lower than 6. Then specific schools will have specific requirements. So something like the law school, if you were to go into a Juris Doctor, has a way more demanding IELTS score. The dental school, medical school, etc., will require anything that includes speaking to patients or speaking to industry will require higher IELTS. And you can see the range of different IELTS scores required at that website at the bottom there. So these are just some of the dates to take into consideration. So semester 1 intake is generally around mid-February with commencement late Feb. Research term 1 is around the 1st of Jan to the 30th of June. So you must have started your research in that period if you're doing research. July intake, which is semester 2, orientation is mid to late July, and then commencement late July, and then research term 2, 1st of July, 31st of December. Again, you must have started your research in that time period. Okay, I'm just going to briefly go through this because I know we're running out of time and there's probably questions there, but this is just what you can expect as a student. So a very vibrant campus with everything you need as a student available on campus, including academic services, food outlets, convenience stores, a student guild, social clubs, gymnasiums, etc. Anything you could need as a student is located on campus. If not, in the surrounding suburb around. We have 5 residential colleges, which is located just across the road, as I mentioned. They're fully catered for options, or you can actually cook for yourself if you wanted to. We have contracts with private providers as well, so we can help you secure off campus accommodation as well, and we have homestay. But generally, the 2 main options are residential colleges and private providers as well. As a student, you can also work up to 40 hours a fortnight as a coursework student, so which goes a long way to helping you cover your living expenses if you need to. As a PhD student, you can actually work full-time, which is quite good, particularly if you wanted to do some teaching and tutoring as well. So these are just some more, for more information, some really important websites there. So the UWA website, UWA International website, and the research, a couple of research websites there. That's my email address at the bottom there. If you wanted to contact me at any time for any reason, more than happy to take questions at any time. So that is the end of my presentation. It was I went through that quite fast because there was a bit of information I wanted to cover. So I'm happy to take any questions now. So what I'll do is I'll stop sharing my slides and take any questions.
Okay, thank you so much, Dave. We have one question from Gabriela. How has the COVID situation affected the employability of graduate students?
So obviously our borders remain very tight, so no international students have been able to arrive into Australia. We, the University of Western Australia, are in the process of applying for our medical students to return, but even that is being quite problematic, just because we've been so successful in keeping COVID out, Perth in particular. That our borders have been quite tough to get into. In saying that, we are almost getting to the stage where the borders are just about to open. So our milestone is 80%, and then the Prime Minister is looking to start opening borders under a staged approach. So early next year, we're hoping that international students will be able to return, and that will increase as the year progresses next year. We have been quite successful in having online studies available for students. So if you were to start online, you could certainly then transfer to Perth, to UWA, as soon as borders do open. And this has been the case for coursework students as well as research students as well. So there are certainly online options available.
Thank you, Dave. I have one question for you. What is your advice for people that are in the process of applying, about the time of preparation, about the requirements? What is your advice?
Sorry, can you please repeat that? So I'm just going to move while my family comes out.
What is your advice for people that are in the process of applying for an university, in time of, about the time of preparations, about the requirements?
Okay, so one of the big things is to try and make sure you're fully prepared with all your documents. So that includes your qualifications, your if you have done your English tests, so Ielts test, you have that prepared, or you're ready to sit that. If you haven't got your Ielts results, an offer could be presented to you, but it'll have conditions pending your English results. So that's generally for coursework, and then obviously ensuring you're choosing the right course. So doing your research on the course that will best suit your future career. Make sure you've thoroughly researched, asked as many questions of the institution that you need to. Then for if you were applying for a higher degree by research, ensuring that you've reached out to a supervisor and making sure that they are available and willing to supervise your research is vitally important, because if you go through the process and then they aren't available to help with your research, it's a bit of a waste of time. So I'd make sure that if you're considering research, a higher degree by research, making sure that the institution offers something that you have, that the supervisor is available and willing to assist with supervising your research is really important as well. And then again, making sure all your documents are ready and available to submit your application.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And we don't have more questions. Oh yes, Juliana. If I have a master's degree in English and want to apply to a PhD, do I have to take the IELTS again?
Take the IELTS again. Have you taken IELTS previously? and where it is also depend on what institution you studied at as well. If you've done the degree entirely in English, generally that's suitable, but it also depends on what institution you undertook your degree at. So if you did it at, I did my master's in Germany. So that'd be something we would need to assess. So my team in admissions would need to see your transcripts and then assess the institution that you did your degree at. The reason why I say that is some institutions will be recognised as teaching a high quality English degree, and others may not be assessed as that standard. So there is a list of institutions available which help our admissions assess various qualifications as well as various degrees as well. So the best way to do that is to submit your application.
Okay, thank you. We have other questions. Could you tell us more about your experience as a student of UWA? Do you offer extracurricular activities? Possible work?
Okay, so as a student of UWA, I just say the experience was amazing. And, you know, my background is a Master of Public Health, and I truly believe that it's been the degree that has opened up doors to me in other areas. So it's not only the, you know, the theory you learn in the classroom, it's also the additional extracurricular opportunities you get around the degree that really help you. So the ability to make networks, the ability to build relationships, to communicate, etc., is really what does open doors to you as well. The lecturers and tutors are high class, so they really do help you at every step during the way. So it's an open door policy. So if you're struggling in a particular area, they want you to go and see them. The last thing they want is for a student to fail, because it looks badly upon them as well. So they want to help you through every step of the process whilst you're studying. Also, our range of academic services. So whether it be communication, whether it be study skills, whether it be referencing, you can go and receive assistance in any particular area that you may need from our central services. And then the campus itself and the students, so we've got over 130 different social clubs available for students, and they range from special interest groups to sporting clubs to cultural groups. So we've got a very healthy and active Latin America group, which is quite a vibrant group. But we have club days on campus. We have special events throughout the year, which includes food trucks, various bands. We've got a tavern, which has various bands throughout the year. So it's a very vibrant place to be. So your student experience, and you can see just the location itself on the Swan River, close to the city, close to the beach, easy to get around, provides some of the best opportunities for a student that you could possibly want anywhere around the world.
Okay, and it is possible to work at the university as a student?
It is possible to work as a student. So we have a number of various cafes and restaurants. As a research student as well, there is opportunity to work as a tutor or a lecturer. If you can't secure on campus, there are a number of different grocery outlets, fresh fruit and veg places, restaurants, cafes around the university. So you can see on the picture behind me, there's two roads that intersect. Along those roads, there's cafes and restaurants the whole way along. So there's opportunities for students to work there, and most of our students do. But not only there, but within a 5 kilometre radius, there's a number of different supermarkets, retail stores, etc., where students can secure employment. And as I mentioned earlier in my presentation, the ability to secure a job in Perth is by far the best out of anywhere in Australia. So it's quite easy to get a job for students working part-time.
Okay, Christian asked, it is necessary to prove research experience for all kind of masters. He is in master in VIM, don't have research experience, but he has 8 years of work experience.
Okay, so that'd be taken into account if you wanted to do a Master of Research. There is potential to do a bridging if it's assessed that you're required. There is potential to do a bridging style course, which will provide you all the necessary background in research. So you might have to do a research evaluation unit that includes methods, analytical skills, things like biostats, etc. So there is potential, certainly potential for you to submit an application for a research degree based on your master's, your work experience, and then possibly you may just have to do a bridging unit or what have you. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and the last question, Lina. There's a way that a student can make his master or PhD and study a professional English course to know more about the technique vocabulary in the career?
Yeah, so we have there's a couple of different programs that are available for professional English. We have a Centre for English Language Training, which runs various English language development courses throughout the year. We also have an English School of English or language school as well, which runs various professional courses as well to help PhD students in various languages and professional language. So there are certainly opportunities within the University of Western Australia, and also around in other language development institutes as well, courses available. So there's plenty of options to do that, but within UWA there is certainly language development courses.
Okay, Dave, thank you so much for being here, for your presentation. It was very useful. Quiero dejarles una información también. Recuerden que el día de mañana es nuestra feria virtual, Connect Live. Aquí les dejo en el chat el link para que se puedan registrar. La Universidad de Western Australia también va a estar ahí. Ustedes pueden hablar de manera totalmente personalizada con cada uno de los representantes. Entonces los invito a que se conecten. También si tienen alguna duda específica sobre el proceso que tienen que hacer para ser beneficiario de Colfuturo, pueden escribirme a este correo, yo soy futuro@colfuturo.org. Pueden escribir y van a resolver todas las dudas. Tenemos 2 charlas informativas del programa Crédito Beca que se hace el primer viernes de cada mes y el segundo sábado de cada mes. Es decir, el próximo sábado vamos a tener charla y mañana también en nuestra feria vamos a tener también una pequeña charla para que puedan acceder. Recuerden que todos estos beneficios de los que habló Dave son solo para beneficiarios de Colfuturo. Es decir, primero tienen que hacer el proceso con Colfuturo. Entonces, muchas gracias por asistir. Dave, thank you. Have a nice day.
Not a problem. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Yes.
Okay. And if there's anything anyone needs, feel free to email me.
Yes. Yes.
Great.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good evening, everyone.